Hi everyone, it's Jared here with Heat Press Nation, and I'm really stoked for today's webinar. So go ahead and if you want to, get your notepads out, or don't, because we're gonna edit this down and we're gonna post the replay on our YouTube. We're looking to switch our webinar hosting company because there's just too much lag on this. The screen's too choppy. I know the audio comes through pretty good, but anyways, very excited to have you here today. Today I'll be talking about back to basics. All right, because usually on Heat, I've been doing this for a few years now, and we just go deep. We have videos on just about everything, but what I sometimes forget is like, wait a second, there's a lot of new people who are new to this industry. They're new to the whole heat press thing, and they need to know what the heck is going on. What do you need to start a t-shirt business with a heat press? I have my notes right here. So if you see me looking away from the camera, I'm just checking my notes. Got a lot of stuff to cover today. So I had to usually I just kind of boom, wing it, not wing it, but fly by, off the top of my head. But today I got notes. Now there's lots of different ways. In fact, today is really cool. So if you've been curious, you've been doing your research, hey, I've heard about heat transfer vinyl, HTV. I've heard about sublimation. I've heard about, my cousin does screen print. My buddy does DTG. I'm actually going to talk about all of those things. I think we're covering 6 or 7 different methods of heat transfer to get your prints onto your shirts. And how does that relate to you who's starting a business? So the first thing I do want to say right out of the gate is that not everything is going to work for everyone. Say that one more time. And you know what, my buddy, Big Brando, some of you guys might have seen him. He said it so eloquently. And when I say so eloquently, he used a lot more curse words than I do. But I love him. But basically what he was saying is look, what works for you doesn't work for me. Here, let me get a little bit deeper into that. Some of you guys are starting a t-shirt business for hire, meaning you're going to take jobs from other people and you're going to print their shirts for them. Some people are starting their own t-shirt line and you just want to keep your production in-house, meaning you have this cool idea, which I do, by the way. I have my own t-shirt line. I used to be for hire, but on the side, and this is besides my work here at Heat Press Nation, but I don't really do the for hire thing anymore. It just wasn't really working out for me because I have a day job here that I love. So, but I do like making t-shirts, so I kept my t-shirt line, which this is right here. I kept my t-shirt line, but I have since abandoned my for hire. You might be different. You might say, dude, I don't have any cool t-shirt ideas, but I have a lot of business contacts that need t-shirts and I'm going to be their supplier. You're going to be the print for hire. So that's already, I think that's the biggest split. And some people might do both. That's fine. I think there's a guy that I follow on YouTube. It's like 285, 358. He has some sort of number, but he's this Canadian guy who does motorcycles. He has his own line and he screens for hire. So pretty cool. Whatever works for you. But one thing I will say is if you're strictly for hire, you're going to have different needs than a strictly for yourself, like a t-shirt line. So yeah, that's just one of the ways. Another thing is, what's your startup budget? And then the biggest thing is, what kind of graphics are you going to make? And you might say, wait, what do you mean? Aren't they all the same? No, and that's probably the biggest thing that we're going to talk about today. So my goal here, again, not everything works for everyone, but my goal here today is to give you enough information to help set you on the right path. You might need to do additional research after this webinar, and you might be ready to buy your heat press right after this webinar. It really depends, but I hope to get you at least on the right path with as much information, as concise as I could possibly be. Some of you guys who have been, you've been watching us for a little while, it's like, oh, Jared, once he gets going, he talks a lot. Yeah, sorry. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is heat transfer vinyl. Now, heat transfer vinyl is probably the most popular way to customize t-shirts. This is heat transfer vinyl. We absolutely love it here. I'll just say that a majority of the customers here at Heat Press Nation are using heat transfer vinyl, even those who have sublimation or they have other things. One thing I found, which was surprising, is a lot of screen print shops will have heat transfer vinyl. They'll have their vinyl cutter and stuff because it allows them to do low quantity single or custom one-offs. This is heat transfer vinyl. Now, this is a 2-color. The center color you see is glitter, and the outside color is a nice, we call it electric green. Cool thing about heat transfer vinyl is you have lots of different options available. As you see, glitter. I think I have one more here. Yes, this is called holographic, and I'm going to try to hold it up to the camera as best I can. You see how it's like just real glimmery and nice? We made these for St. Patrick's Day, our special St. Patrick's Day episode. And heat transfer vinyl is really cool. It does have its limitations, and I have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to kind of skim through here. But if you're asking my personal recommendation, it's the easiest way to get started in the custom garment industry with a heat press. And by the way, everything I'm going to talk about today requires a heat press. So if you don't even know where to get started with the heat press. Now, finding your own heat press can be tough. We have whole videos on it. I'm not going to talk about how to select a heat press today, just because that's a whole other webinar in itself. But I will say, get yourself a good heat press, and that's like your base point. So to get started, you're going to need a heat press. Now, this is the one that I personally own. Actually, this is a newer version. Mine is like 4 years old, but this is the HPM 16 by 20 inch Signature Series heat press. Great heat press. So you're going to need a heat press, and you're going to need a vinyl cutter. This is the Silhouette Cameo 4. I personally adore the Silhouette Cameo vinyl cutters. I started off with a Cameo 2 about 4 years ago. Got a Cameo 3, and I'm still rocking my Cameo 3. Even though the Cameo 4 came out, my 3 is going strong. It's not like something that you need to replace like every year, like your cell phone. Oh, my cell phone's, it's slow now. Like, no, the Cameo 3 is still great. So I'm still rocking my Cameo 3. And so what the vinyl cutter does is you have these sheets of material, and it cuts out the graphic. Then there's this process called weeding, where you peel out the excess material, and everything that's left behind on the sheet is what gets heat pressed into the shirt. I love it because it's affordable. The Silhouette Cameo, I think, is like under $300, like $299. It's around there. It's really, really great deal. And it's really affordable if you want to create your own graphics. Now, when I say your own graphics, this is what the Silhouette Cameo is great for. Clever saying or slogan. If you're putting text onto garments, which is really popular right now, this is the absolute best and easiest way to do it. If you're into this, if you're doing a custom clothing line, or if the job that you want to offer to your clients are that, like they're just like you're putting like basic text or clever or funny sayings on that, you can easily do that with a vinyl cutter. It's so simple. In fact, vinyl cutter with your heat transfer vinyl is probably the best way to do this. Now you can do other stuff, and let's try to find it here. So actually, I'll go back to. So you see how we have this full color. This is called the Holy Grail, and I'll explain why in a minute. But with the vinyl cutter, you're just gonna be like it's best for single color. So you see how the whole graphic is just white. The vinyl cutter is best for single color graphics. You can do multiple layers like this, like how again the center, the clover is glitter green, and then the rest is a different kind of green. You do have to press those twice. If you want to see how we did that, you can tune it. You can check on YouTube. We just had our layering episode. I showed off how to do that. Heat transfer vinyl. I'm reading off my list. It's affordable. It's long lasting. It's easy to use. Pro quality. Again, this shirt, I've already watched this shirt a zillion times. I offered this like I think 2019. So I did this for my own line, and I wear this shirt like every week. So yeah, so this has been washed 2 years consistently, still looking fantastic. So heat transfer vinyl is very, very long lasting. It's versatile, meaning you could put it on hats, you could put it on sweaters, jackets, so much you could do on heat transfer vinyl. And I encourage you, there's going to be a downloadable PDF that I'm going to email to all of you guys on Monday, because you registered with your emails, and it'll be available through the link if you're watching the replay. It's going to have links to everything. And we actually have videos where we've shown you how to press to jackets, we've pressed to umbrellas, we've pressed to camping chairs, shoes. I'm blanking here. I already mentioned hoodies, hats, like so much cool stuff that you can use heat transfer vinyl on. It's very, very versatile. The only, let me keep going on the pros. It's great for one-offs and custom work. So if somebody just wants one custom t-shirt, maybe they're doing like a gender reveal and they want you to, make them custom shirts, or for a birthday party, they just want a shirt for the birthday kid. Like, you're not going to go to a screen printer, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But for now, like, heat transfer vinyl is the way to go for one-offs and custom work. There's lots of different specialty materials that I showed you, like glitter, holographic, glow in the dark, lots of really, really cool stuff. Now the cons, and we're totally honest here. Like I said, most of our customers are using heat transfer vinyl, but there are some cons, as you're going to find out with pretty much everything I talk about today. There are cons. The complex designs do require more time to weed. So removing the background out of this is a very detailed process. This graphic right here in total took me about 3 or 4 minutes to weed. No, actually, no, it took me a little less. 3 or 4 minutes is safe. So if you had something that was like super duper detailed, look at all that detail. I personally would never ever do this with heat transfer vinyl. I would do this with either screen print or a laser transfer, which I'll show you. I will talk about that in a second. So with heat transfer vinyl, that's the con. It's like, if it's a super detailed transfer, you're probably it's gonna run you more time in labor. So when you're billing your customers, you're gonna have to consider how much labor you're putting into that graphic per design. So if I made 100 of these shirts, I would spend, and it took me 4 minutes to weed this one, I would spend 400 minutes just in peeling off the background of that heat transfer vinyl. So it makes it's not ideal for high quantity jobs, although it's very possible you can still do it. It's just not ideal. Large areas with solid coverage can cause a heavy hand. So this material, it is a little thick. If you have just like a lot of coverage, like there's a solid graphic here, might feel a little bit heavy on a regular t-shirt. It's fine for jackets and sweaters, but for regular t-shirts, it might feel a little bit heavy. And multicolor graphics require multiple layers. So again, referring back to this t-shirt, the glitter I was pressed on one layer and everything else was pressed on a separate layer. So it just does, the more colors you have on your shirt, the more time it's gonna take you, and that all just factors in to your final cost. That's why, to me, heat transfer vinyl, yes, you can do multiple colors and multiple layers, just make sure you charge for it. I love these. So if you're doing your own line, I love simple graphics that are easy to weed, one color. Dude, that's like my sweet spot. Next is sublimation. Now here's sublimation in short. If you don't know what sublimation is the ink. So you print out this transfer, special sublimation printer, you print out a transfer. When you heat press that transfer to the shirt, the ink gets heated up and it turns into a gas dye. The pressure from the heat press presses that dye into the shirt, and then you're left with a beautiful full color design with zero hand. That means you absolutely, if I close my eyes and I touch this, I have no idea where the ink is, versus if I close my eyes and I touch this shirt, I can definitely feel where the ink is, or it's not ink, the vinyl. So with this, again, close your eyes, you have no idea where it is because it's so soft. And that's the beauty of sublimation, because you're literally dyeing the garment. This is not, you're not applying a thin film or a thin layer of anything on top. You are literally dyeing the garment. So it's really, really soft, and there's no weaving involved. You print it out, you put it on your shirt, heat press it, and you're done. It takes about 40 to 60 seconds per press. And as you can see, these colors are super vibrant. They're super vibrant, super nice. And yeah, it's beautiful. So let's go straight. We're going to go straight into the pros and cons. Okay, so necessary equipment. You need a heat press, a sublimation printer kit, which is paper or printer, paper, and ink. You're also going to need parchment paper and pressing pillows. There's not a lot going on there. Now here's the pros. It's absolutely the softest hand out there. Full color, you can get full color photos. So if you need to put pictures on t-shirts, you can. It's beautiful, and you can also use it, and I don't have one here, you can use the same printer to press coffee mugs, keychains. Like, there is so much to sublimation that you can do. Now, here are the cons. The cons are you can only use it on polyester garments. So if you want to start a t-shirt line, You're going to be limited to polyester shirts. Now, for some of you guys who are doing like sun wear or active wear, that's actually pretty cool because most of that stuff's polyester anyways. But you can only do light garments. And so here's what I'm going to talk about. So here we have the holy grail of t-shirts. This is a black cotton shirt with a full color graphic on it. And the reason why we call it the holy grail is because this is actually really tough to do. So a lot of people are going to want pictures and they're going to want you to put what, like, you'd be surprised the requests that we get. So they're going to want either this, sometimes it's a full picture, sometimes they're just going to want a picture of the baby's face. Sometimes they're going to want like a special, and this is real popular, it's kind of sad, but they're going to want memorial t-shirts. When a loved one passes away, they put that on there, whatever, right? But on a black shirt, that's especially tough. We call this the Holy Grail shirt because it's just not easy to do. You cannot do this with sublimation. Let me repeat one more time. You cannot do this with sublimation. The reason for that is that sublimation does not have any white ink. There's no white ink in sublimation, so in your sublimation printer, so it only prints the colored ink. So any white part of the transfer, it actually is being supplied by your shirt. That's the white of the shirt you're seeing, not the white of your transfer. So the only so even sublimation is super soft, super beautiful. The only cons are white polyester t-shirts. It is what it is. So some of you guys, sorry if I got your hopes up. The next one, Inkjet heat transfer paper. Now this is the most affordable way to get color or photo images on your garments. For example, this. You say, wait, didn't you say that's the Holy Grail garment? Yeah, kind of. So this is a full color transfer, but it's just, I don't know if you hear that, it's a little thick and heavy. Now, I'm going to go straight to the pros and cons of Inkjet heat transfer paper. Well, really quick, Inkjet, it's affordable. The sheets run about 50 cents to $1 a sheet, which is not bad at all. The printers are super affordable. Most modern printers are more than capable of giving you a good quality print to put on a t-shirt. There's two downsides to Inkjet heat transfer paper. So look at these two pictures. You see how there's a white background around the bottom one, and if you look at the top, you can kind of see the box around it. And now with these, oh, okay, that's cool. There is no border. So with Inkjet heat transfer paper, you do have to physically trim the background of the paper off of your print. You can do this in a vinyl cutter. You could do this manually with scissors or an X-Acto knife, but that process sucks. I'm just gonna be real. It's terrible, all right? So you wanna use your vinyl cutter. It does make the process a little bit longer if you have stuff that needs to be cut out. Now, what is easy is if you're gonna use it for just a squared off picture, well, this is easy to trim. You just get a ruler or a paper slicer, and that's easy. Having a complex shaped image like this, that's gonna be more labor intensive. So you may or may not want to do that. Now, so let's go straight to the pros. The pros of Inkjet heat transfer paper is that it's affordable, it's relatively easy to use, and there's one transfer in particular called Nina Jet Pro Soft Stretch. That one blows my mind. It's exceptionally long lasting. It is for light or white colored garments only, but you can do it on cotton, and dude, that stuff lasts forever. It's amazing. Everything else is what the industry calls promotional quality. So Inkjet heat transfer paper, in the industry they call it promotional quality, meaning it's great the first time you wear it. So if you're doing like a marathon or it's a memorial t-shirt, people are only gonna wear that stuff once and then kind of put it away, or just they're not really, if I get a free t-shirt, from a bank at a 5K, like I'm not gonna wear that shirt again. It's like, oh cool, I got a shirt and that's it, right? So it's great for promotional wear. It's not retail quality. So if you're starting your own product line, you don't really want to use anything unless there is one, and it'll be linked in the downloadable PDF, Nina Jet Pro Soft Stretch. I have a t-shirt that I've had, again, I keep saying 4 years because I started heat pressing as soon as I started with Heat Press Nation, and I'm coming up on my 5-year anniversary very soon. So that shirt is coming up on 5 years old, and it's a little faded, but it's super soft and it still looks good. So besides that paper, there's not, this is considered promotional quality. You're going to wear it to a special event or something, and then after that. Now, if you're doing these shirts for hire, you could let your clients know, like, hey, these are going to be great promotional shirts, but they're not going to be, they're going to fade after a little while, or they're going to crack, or they're going to peel. So that's really the con of inkjet heat transfer paper, is that it's just, it's not very durable in most cases. It's promotional quality. So it's not, you don't want to say, oh yeah, this shirt sucks. No, it's promotional quality. Good for a couple uses, usually about 10 to 12 uses before it shows signs of wear. And again, the other con is that it is not for detailed graphics or lettering. So believe it or not, inkjet heat transfer paper actually does terrible when it's time for lettering, because remember, you have to cut it out of the background, and cutting out each individual letter is horrible. You don't want to do that. It is not fun at all. Okay, now we're going to get into the expensive stuff. White toner laser transfers. And it's funny that the more expensive stuff gets, usually we think, oh, it's going to be easier to use. I'm paying so much for it, they should make it easier to use. No, this is not a Tesla. It's not going to drive itself. This is professional industry equipment. So white toner transfers, this, now we have reached the holy grail item. And this is really soft. We're not hearing that crazy crackly noise, right? It's really soft, full color, black cotton shirt. This is the most affordable way to get quality prints onto your holy grail t-shirts. Now brace yourself. I said it's the most affordable way. Doesn't mean it's cheap. You're going to be looking to spend about $3 to $4 grand just to get started, not counting your heat press. Now, yeah, I know we all, oh, whoa, that's crazy for some people, but if you're starting a business, a print for hire business, it's definitely worth the investment, because even if you have a screen print business, now you can take those one-off jobs. Now you can take a custom single job, you could take a photograph job, which is not easy with screen print. Or if you're doing your own line, you have to invest in your business, because this is going to cover your transfer production for years to come. So that being said, this is well worth it, especially when you compare it to our next job. But really quick, necessary equipment: you're going to need a good heat press, white toner laser printer, the RIP software, the white toner media, which I'll talk about that in a second, and maybe some parchment paper or something. So that's the white toner laser printer. This is the Oki Pro 8432. This is actually a little more expensive. You're getting like the $8 grand. We do have some available in the $3,000 range. And so the pros are that it's great for on-demand printing. It's low maintenance. You get your holy grail transfers, which are the wigless, full color on black cotton garments. You can also use it for other things with different types of print media, like coffee mugs, temporary tattoos, cardstock, and more. Now, on the pros list, I am going to list the price. The price is actually a pro when you compare it to what I'm going to show you next. The cons are also the price. If you're comparing it to heat transfer vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, you can easily get started for under $1,000. White toner, after you buy your heat press, you're in about 4 or 5, even 6 grand or more. So that might sound expensive. Really quick, other cons are the transfer paper is expensive. It's about $2 to $4 a pop per sheet. So per transfer, you're blowing about $2 to $4. And then there is a little bit of a learning curve, as there is with everything. So when you first get your white toner transfer printer, you can expect to blow through about 20 prints, but it's not waste. You're practicing, you're learning, you're getting the hang of it, you're fine-tuning your settings for your press and your printer. You will blow through about 20 sheets of something. So just keep that in mind, that there is again, you're not buying a Tesla, all right? You're buying a piece of professional manufacturing equipment. The one more thing that I'm going to show you guys, and this is something that we don't carry. So everything I've shown you, you could find all on heatpressnation.com, but this next thing, you cannot find this on heatpressnation.com. We don't carry it for several reasons. But this is a DTG printer. This DTG stands for direct to garment. And if you look at it looks like, wait, that's a regular size printer. No, look at the print bay. That's a t-shirt. That is a full-size t-shirt. So this thing is massive. I want to say it's like 4 or 5 feet wide, and then total depth is like, I think it's something like 6 or 7 feet. The front, and I don't know. It's a big monster, all right. I'll tell you that. And you can imagine the price range. I think this particular printer starts at around $16,000. If you have that kind of cheddar and you want your holy grail prints, go for it. We don't carry this, so you will have to look elsewhere. But I did want to bring it up to kind of, honestly, like, to kind of bring everything into perspective. Like, dude, heat transfer vinyl starting for under $1,000, white toner laser printer in the $3,000 to $6,000 range, or $8,000 depending on how far you go. This thing, you can't even touch this setup for less than 20 grand, because this printer is like $16,000 plus tax, right? So this printer is about 16 grand. Then you'll need, which is not pictured, but you'll need a pre-treat machine. You're going to run you about 1 to 2 grand. You're going to need a heat press. You're looking about another grand or so. And then you are going to need, pre-treat, like fluid or whatever you call that stuff. The inks are not cheap. They're actually very expensive. Anyways, the pros are that you get the beautiful photo quality prints. You get your holy grail, all right, equipment. In fact, if you go to Target, and you've seen how Target carries all these like really cool t-shirts, like the Mr. Rogers, like photographs, like the Friends or whatever, I don't know, whatever. Those are probably done in a big DTG farm. They have dozens and dozens of these huge printers just printing all day, right? That's DTG. Again, you're getting the holy grail. You're getting photographs that are nice and soft, full color onto black cotton garments. It's soft hand, good washability, so it's pretty durable. The cons are that it's expensive. They do require continuous maintenance. So if you're going on vacation for a week, you better get one of your DTG buddies to come by and run maintenance on your printer. Otherwise, you'll be in a world of hurt. The shirts must be pre-treated, which is a whole other process. And the pre-treat machine is its own machine, requires its own fluid, and it's kind of a drag. And then the last one is that because of the price and the inks and everything, you do have to keep your DTG machine running most of the day to stay profitable. Profits are great, don't get me wrong, but like if you're only going to use your machine to press like a dozen things a day, you're probably not going to be profitable with your direct-to-garment machine. So I do not recommend this unless you know. You have to be like a salesperson, or have a good salesperson, because you have to be able to keep this machine running all the time to stay profitable. The reason why I'm showing you this, because you're saying, Jared, you don't even carry this at Heat Press Nation. Right, but I do want to show you your options, what you should be looking into. Some of you guys might have a big budget ready to launch your new business. You have a great sales team, and you're expanding or whatever, right? Like, yeah, it might be the thing for you, and I wouldn't even want you to have a laser printer if a DTG is what you need. Like at Heat Press Nation, we're not going to sell you stuff that you don't need. We really aren't. But I did want to show you this to kind of bring everything into perspective. Let's say you want the holy grail prints. You want to print anything on anything, but you don't have 20 grand to blow. That $3,000 to $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 laser printer is looking really good right now, I bet. And that's the truth. So it kind of brings those things into perspective. The last thing I will say are pre-made transfers. You guys have been seeing them a lot, probably. Companies like Transfer Express, 613 Originals. You got F&M Expressions, and a new pal of mine, Supercolor. You've been seeing those guys around a lot. Yeah, if you just have a heat press and you have absolutely nothing else, you can still start your t-shirt business. So if you want to get started, call our team here at heatpressnation.com. Get yourself into a really nice heat press from us, and then you have all you need to get started. Now, pre-made transfers, I don't have extensive experience. I'm just going to share with you what I know. I have tested them. I've gotten sample packs, and you should do this, by the way, if you're interested. Order sample packs. I've gotten sample packs from 613, F&M, and I don't think I have a Transfer Express sample pack. But I've tested them, and they work great. I don't have any on me right now. But yeah, they work great. Here are the pros. The pros is that they're perfect for bulk orders. Sometimes I don't feel like weeding out 100 of this, so I'll just order them from somewhere else. You send them your artwork. They send you back a stack of ready to press transfers. Put the transfer on your shirt, you press it, you're done. It's that easy. So you're basically outsourcing your materials and labor is what you're doing. So it's perfect for bulk orders where you need to save time. All right, you're going to spend a little bit more money on materials, but you're saving so much time. This is especially like this. If I had to make 100 of these, there's no way I would weed this with vinyl. I would just do it. I would order those. I would outsource those. Okay. So the pros, they're perfect for bulk orders or for detailed multicolor transfers that just aren't suitable for heat transfer vinyl. And the other pros that you don't need anything but a heat press. If you have a heat press, you could start your business with pre-made transfers. Now the cons are that the turnaround times can be a little long. You can't press on the spot. Somebody calls you, hey, I need this by tomorrow morning. Can't do it because you have to outsource it, right? There's a minimum quantity required, so you still can't do a single or a small quantity job. I think the minimums are usually around a dozen or so. And then the other con is that the plastisol transfers, which plastisol is a screen print ink, a lot of these are made from screen printings. Screen printings, you got to cure the ink. There's a little bit of a science to it, so you're gonna have to fine tune it and get your testing done. So your first order that comes in, do some extras, give yourself extra time to do a proper wash test different settings. It's gonna take a little while to fine tune your settings for the plastisol, which is the screen print transfers. But after that, you're good as gold. I don't see any questions, surprisingly, so I hope that works. If not, be sure to catch the replay on our YouTube channel. I'm gonna be sharing, so the notes that I'm reading off, you guys are gonna get these on Monday. Everyone's gonna be automatically emailed with the notes. You're gonna have links, tons of links. So if you're ready to do your homework on to which process is gonna be best for you to start your heat press business with a heat press, look out for that email on Monday. From us, it's gonna have all the information you need. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to look in the description below. Give us a like and a subscribe. And yeah, all right, thank you guys so much for joining me today. That's gonna do it for me. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see all you guys real soon.